Hey, it's Chris. I'm a little bit late getting my studio display review up. Okay, 7 months late. But still, I gotta tell you, this studio display was made for someone like me. So today, I'm gonna talk about why I get along with this thing so well, and I'm also gonna talk about the perceived negatives and why they don't bother me in the slightest. But first, if you ask me to describe this in a super long run-on sentence, it would probably go something like this. This is a bright, clear, sharp display with excellent viewing angles that produces accurate, vivid colors that also has really great speakers and mics. Now, is this thing perfect? No, and I'm gonna talk about some of those perceived complaints in just a minute, but first, let me talk about why this thing fits me like a glove. And for context, I'm just coming off of an LG ultra-wide experience. So one of my favorite things here is the optional nano textured glass. I love it, and I don't understand anyone who says otherwise. Well, actually, I get it. There's arguments for and against it, but personally, if I had the option, if I could afford it in the budget, I would always add the nano texture, and here's why. I, like many people, have a window right next to my desk, and that means lots of glare at certain times during the day, like annoying reflections on all of my screens, except for this screen with the nano texture display. This has solved glare for me, which is a major upgrade. And guess what else I'm loving? And I mean absolutely loving. That would be the brightness. This thing gets really bright. 600 nits of brightness, actually. And I'm not just talking about like pretty bright, I mean like very bright. Because the main complaint that I had about my previous ultra-wide, although I do love the ultra-wide format, and that was a pretty great monitor all around, otherwise, it was just so dim, especially when you had your MacBook Pro right next to it or your iPad Pro, which get very bright. It just didn't fit the rest of my Apple gear. But here, it fits right in. There's no complaints. I'm absolutely thrilled with the brightness. And I'm also thrilled with the speakers. There's a 6-speaker setup here, and it'd be actually too easy for me to sit here and just rave about how good the speakers sound. And they do sound amazing, especially for built-in monitor speakers. It's like, wow. What monitor have you ever used that had speakers that, number one, were even decent and like not tinny, but number two, that blew you away in terms of your expectations? Never. But actually, what really gets me here is not just that the speakers are this good, it's really more that they're this good and they're included. So what I'll say are amazing speakers actually turn out to be 2 upgrades in one. Number one, they sound great. That's obvious. But number two, I have less clutter around my desk because I don't have to put some extra speakers out for really good sound. So I guess what I'm saying is I really like this comprehensive all-in-one design and package where it's not just the display and it's not just a display with speakers and it's not just a display with a lot of great ports and with a webcam. It's everything all in one bundle. So what I'm really driving at is that it's very convenient. And that is worth something. I realize you pay a bit of a premium price here, but you're paying for convenience, aside from the style. And then I'm also just super delighted with how easy this thing is to adjust. I noticed it right away when I took it out and set it on the desk. Whether you're adjusting the height up and down or the tilt, it just glides. It's so smooth. And really, I've used a lot of LG monitors in the past. That's kind of been my go-to monitor brand. And when you adjust the height on those, there's a night and day difference compared to this Apple display. That just feels like you're fighting it, sort of, to get it just where you need it and to get it right. This is just a breeze. Now, something else that I want to point out is that this thing just feels premium. It's a very simple, straightforward design, which, by the way, has the same design language as my other Apple devices. So you got that black bezel, not only around this display, but also around my MacBook Pro screen, around my iPad Pro. It fits right in on the desk. And that goes for the quality, the fit, the finish as well. A lot of the monitors that I've used in the past had a decent or good looking picture, but they're just made out of plastic. And here I am using this really premium MacBook Pro and an iPad Pro and a nice iPhone, and I'm used to this really high quality stuff, and then it's just plastic as the main focus of my desk. This doesn't do that to you. Because look, you sit there and you stare at your monitor all day. And when you look at something that's sort of like a work of art, almost like a sculpture on your desk, I think that does put you in a different and a better maybe even a more creative headspace. So yeah, I'm gonna enjoy editing photos here, editing video, obviously, multitasking. I'm gonna enjoy my brainstorming sessions where I'm using MindNote and Apple Notes and Safari and researching and putting together a project. So all my usual stuff, which would include Jasper, my favorite AI writing assistant, and in general, just one of my favorite productivity tools, which will literally let you harness the power of AI to not only create copy for you, it will write for you, but also to create art and images to go with that copy. And as if it wasn't useful enough already, the team also added a Chrome extension, which I use with the Brave browser. And I'll link it up for you if you're new around here so you can check it out. But now let's talk a little bit about some of the negative things that have been said about the Studio Display. Starting with what many people have called a lackluster front-facing camera, the 12 megapixel ultra wide. Now I'm gonna be honest, it would be nice if the camera quality was better, sure. But for me, the fact that there's even a webcam here in the first place, that's just kind of a bonus. It's not the reason I was gonna buy this or wanna use this in the first place, but I would much rather have a camera in front of me at the quality that I'm given here with the Studio Display than have to look off to the side, either to my Mac or to my iPad Pro to use those cameras. Now, other people have complained that there's no mini LED here. This is just your standard LCD IPS panel. So what you end up with is standard dynamic range, no HDR here, which is too bad. And people are like, well, look at the iPad Pro. How can they put HDR and mini LED in the iPad Pro, but not in this? Well, you have to remember the iPad Pro is the pinnacle of the Pro lineup. You know, there are cheaper iPad Pros that don't have that, and this isn't the pinnacle of what Apple offers in the screen or monitor department. Apple does offer the Pro Display XDR, which is a 6K display, and look at the price difference, $1,599 versus $5,000. I don't care what monitor you get, you just can't have every single good feature. You can't, especially not at this price point. So look, it'd be nice, I'm not complaining. I can use my iPad Pro right next to this and check out the HDR if I need to. Now, another thing that people have complained about is like, hey, there's no 120 hertz ProMotion on this monitor. And you know what? There's not, but I don't really care because for me, at my desk, what I've set up is a creation station. This is not a gaming station. I'm not gonna be doing a lot of gaming. And then finally, some people have said this is just too expensive. Starts at $1,599. If you get the nano texture option like I've got here, you're getting real close to $2,000. And the argument goes that there are other cheaper options out there that have almost as good picture quality or can get kind of close in the realm-ish of the neighborhood of how good this thing looks. But here's the thing, not everybody out there is looking for a bargain. What I'm saying is I value the quality and the convenience of this all-in-one package that looks so good, matches all my other stuff, more than saving a few $100. So it's not perfect. And there's other things that I could say. I mean, I wish it was a little bit bigger and I wish that it even had a bit of a curve to it, you know? But you're not gonna get it all. And for what you do get for the price, I'm just ecstatic. I really like this thing. For me, the criticisms don't really move the needle. All right, we got a podcast, we got a newsletter, we've got a Twitter account with lots of useful information, like 25 useful apps to skyrocket your productivity. That's a thread worth going through. So check it all out, it's linked up down below. We got some wallpapers you can check out too. If you wanna spice things up with your setup, don't want your stuff looking the same as everybody else. Otherwise, thanks for hanging out, and I'll catch you in the next video. Later.